Welcome to Savvy Business, Life Unscripted with your host, Christina Rivera, where our guests share their wisdom and valuable business tips, empowering our audience to expand their personal potential.
Welcome, Thomas W. Lewis, to Savvy Broadcasting, Life Unscripted. We're so grateful to have you here for our new series, A Life After COVID. A lot of our audience is really freaked out about, losing business. And even if you don't have a business, just the transition of how to go from, getting back to business and doing our jobs again. And you're going to share your views on how we can rebuild our lives after this event. So we're excited to have you share your new book and share your views. Thank you so much, Tom. How are you?
Good. Would you like me to just jump in?
Yeah. Well, first, share with the audience what brought you to real estate and what brought you to write your recent book, Solid Ground.
Yeah. Well, I'm a longtime entrepreneur, converted to a philanthropist maybe 20 years ago, but I started my own company when I was 40 in Phoenix, Arizona, in the home building business. I'd been in the real estate business ever since I got out of graduate business school at the University of North Carolina. And just steadily kind of worked my way up in various companies until I was at a point where I was ready. And then I met the opportunity, and then I jumped on it, and started my own business. It took off pretty quickly. It was a home building operation with a very different vision of focusing on quality, not quantity. And we grew to about 300 million in sales annually during the boom period here in Phoenix. And then we met with the real estate collapse and financial crisis of 2007 and 8. And that kind of reminds me of this situation a little bit.
Yeah.
Of course, I also remember 9/11, which was also somewhat similar to this situation, where the world stopped and nobody had ever seen anything like this before, and they didn't know what to do. And so the book that I've just written is really relevant to this topic. It's just come out. It's called Solid Ground: A Foundation for Winning in Work and in Life. And as a home builder, you learn how important a foundation is. I built over 5,000 homes in Metro Phoenix, and the ones that had drywall and paint problems and concrete and flooring and those kinds of things, they were easy to fix. But if you had a bad foundation, you had a permanent problem, and you had a very unhappy homeowner. And it was pretty much unfixable. It was irreparable.
Can I stop you there a moment, Tom? I'm wondering, as you started starting business in your 40s, many people start earlier but don't succeed like you did.
Yeah.
Are those some of the stories covered in your book on what?
Yeah. That's the very point, because if you, when I'm reasonably smart, very hardworking guy, but had I started a business when I was 22 or 24, I wouldn't have known anything. And so I kind of had to build my foundation for a career. And that's a big message in this book, is you don't just jump in there and start a company. I mean, some people have. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg did pretty well at it, but most people are not that lucky or that smart, where it takes a while to learn all the things you need to learn. And as I tell my story, for 18 years, I worked for 4 different really good companies, 6 or 8 different very good bosses, all of which were world class in my view. Worked in 6 different states. So I had learned a lot, just from exposure and doing things that are hard. And so I found myself standing on a pretty solid foundation when it came to starting my own business.
That sounds great. That, for one, you built up that, as you say, solid foundation, but really got to know. What I liked about your book is you mentioned people say, I start a business because I want to find my passion. But do you know what your passion is at 20 years old? You really talk about getting to know yourself first and starting from there, because if you don't know yourself and why you're doing what you're doing, you can't even go forward.
Yeah, and I start off in the introduction, I believe, talking about a lot of the myths that are being promulgated today to our young people which are just not true. And among them are find your passion, do what you love, live your dream, and everything else will just magically work out.
We
And
will.
then by the way, work smarter, not harder. Okay, and a number of others. And then don't forget that 30 is the new 20. Okay. So in other words, take your time, don't worry, just have fun, follow your passion, and everything will work out. And here's the problem with that. The first few years might be okay when you're in your 20s. But when you wake up and you're 52 years old and you get laid off, you are living in a van down by the river at that point. I mean, so bad things can happen to you if you don't, prepare for life. And so what I've tried to do, because I've had a successful life and a happy life, is go back and kind of think through the principles of what it really took. What did I do that put me in such a position to win? And that's what this book is about. And so I think it's very relevant to today's COVID crisis, because, when you talk about rebuilding your life, that's what you have to do anyway. I mean, that my book was just as relevant before the virus as it is now, because, but even now, maybe even more so, because people are thinking about rebuilding, and you got to go back to the basics, the basics of the principles that have led to success for 2,000 years.
Yeah. And what's amazing about this, Tom, is I'm finding a lot of people in general, whether you are a business owner or not, are learning to redefine themselves. Okay, what now? I lost my job. I'm not bringing in income. What skills do I have that are marketable, that can be used out there right now? One guy, that's right, he did upholstery. And right now people aren't worried about upholstery. They're worried about basic necessities. So since he has cloth and he has materials, he started making masks. And he's selling them at his company. So now all the people in his company are doing that, and they're selling that. So they kind of revamped what they're doing from upholstery to let's make masks, because that's what people need. And so reinvent.
One thing I would say too is that, one of the great legends in American real estate is a man named Trammell Crow. And he had a company called the Trammell Crow Company back in the 60s and 70s and 80s. It was the largest in America. And I knew him personally, and I worked for him for 8 years. And he had a saying that you don't make money when times are good. You make money when times change. And so when a crisis hits and everything gets shuffled up, there's just lots and lots of opportunities out there now to fill voids, to serve customers, to find a market that didn't exist before.
Actually, at this point, I heard someone say recently that what happened in 2008, the financial crash or recession, actually is kind of different now, because businesses across the sector are shut down completely, but it is causing you to go deeper and, like I said, reinvent what you can do and what you can bring to the marketplace. If your business is not relevant right now or being able to be, put out there and used, what can you do right now that can serve people?
Yeah, well, responding to this virus is one thing, but this virus is going to be over, and hopefully by the end of the year, if not sooner, and then we're going to be back to business, and then the same old rules still apply.
Yeah. What would be your advice to someone out there feeling unsure about what's going on and what's going, right now I might have lost my job, maybe my business isn't making money. What would you suggest they do right now to get out of that slump of, what's next?
Well, the worst thing about worrying, or the best solution for worry, is action. So don't just sit on your hands and worry. Take action. Make a list, pick up the phone, call people, take some positive action. I think you'll feel better about yourself in doing that. In my book, I talk a lot about hard work and personal character, and some of the side benefits of those qualities are really that they improve your self-esteem and your resiliency. And people right now talk about, I want to work on my resiliency. Well, hard work causes that to improve, because it forces you to encounter adversity. And when you deal with adversity, like we're dealing with it now with this virus, then you push through it and you overcome it, and show courage and you do things that are esteemable for yourself, you start feeling better about yourself and you gain confidence.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally get you, Tom. In fact, there's been times in my life where I'm so focused on what's going on right now, the bad stuff, that you can't move. You're kind of just like a deer caught in the headlights. But when you kind of just pull back from that and start to examine, okay, what action can I take right now? Even if it's small action, what's the first thing I can do today? And when you start taking that one step in front of another, then you're like, okay, at the end of the day, you realize I never would have gotten here had I not taken that first step. And then you realize, whoa, look what I accomplished.
There's a quote that I love. There's a lot of quotes in the book, but everybody right now, I think what you're talking about is confidence. People are losing their confidence because they might have gotten laid off, they might have gotten furloughed, they're on welfare, they're not feeling good, so they're losing their confidence. So how do you build your confidence? It goes like this: hard work leads to competence, competence leads to confidence. It takes confidence to succeed. It all starts with hard work. So get to work,
Love it. I love it. It's a beautiful, beautiful circle. One leads to another perfectly.
That's exactly how it works.
Yeah. And I've witnessed that in my own life. And I'm hoping people listening into you today, because this will go on up to our website and all the different podcasting places that we also air. And I hope it inspires people to realize this is not the end. This is just the beginning. A lot of opportunities out there to explore as a person, as a business. Where can they find out more about you and your book?
Well, they can go on Amazon. Solid Ground is the name of the book by T.W. Lewis. They can also go to our individual private book website called solidgroundbook.com and read more about me and about the book and about the message in the book. There's quite a few excerpts in there from it, so I would suggest that solidgroundbook.com.
That's fabulous. Well, we're going to open up and see if anyone has questions here. I don't see anything in the chat room, but I'll just open it up here in case anyone wants to say anything. All right. Jay is unmuted, and so is, here's someone else who just signed in. Hello, caller from 4024. Do you have a question?
Yes, I do. I have a small business in New York. Thanks so much for putting this on. It's very encouraging. I just wanted to reinforce the formula your guest had there, speaking about the confidence part. My small online business, although I don't have a brick and mortar, an unusual thing that's been happening in response to what's been going on with the virus is that I'm actually starting to see greater sales popping up now. I don't know if that's because people are ordering online more as opposed to shopping outside, but it has been bringing up quite a bit of confidence. I mean, it was an unexpected surprise. Can you talk about possibly what might be going on as a result of that?
You're talking about confidence in yourself, or?
Well, I've been noticing the confidence in the shoppers in my business. The contacts that I've been getting through, there's been a higher increase in purchasing. So I'm assuming that the confidence level is starting to show up with the consumers. I don't know if it's because they're getting tired of being locked inside or what the deal is, but I've been noticing a slight increase in sales. Do you think that's a result of the confidence of the consumers?
Yeah, I do. I think that human nature, which we have to respect here, can only be cooped up and corralled for so long. And I think we've done that, and we've accommodated the government demands on that, and we've seen the death counts and whatnot. And now people are starting to get itchy, and they're also starting to feel safer about sticking their heads out. And so I do think people are getting their confidence back. And that's showing up in consumer patterns. That's why
I hope this is a good. I hope this is a good trend that is going to continue, because I also, even though with work and everything, that I am a bit tired of what has been going on. But I'm hoping that this is a good positive trend, that the populace and the globe as a whole can continue moving forward with this, because hopefully, as you said, by the end of the year, we can get back into normal, but hopefully we can get this economy going strong again from where we left off.
Yeah, I certainly think it will happen that way.
Yeah,
okay.
I think so. Thank you so much, caller. That was awesome. Thank you so much. Let me thank you so much. Hey, let's see, unmute. Let's see, Jay. Hey, Jay, do you have a question? No, maybe not. All right. So it looks like we only have one question at the moment, but that was awesome. I'm glad someone called in. We have Jay sitting there, but thank you, Jay. I really appreciate you calling in today. And Tom, thank you so much for sharing. Everyone, please go out there and get solid ground. If you're feeling uncertain in these times, you don't have to. Build our business. We're going to come back better than ever. We are. And thank you, Tom, for coming to Savvy Broadcasting today.
Thank you, Christina. Good luck. Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
If you like this episode, please share. To hear more Savvy episodes and Savvy Biz tips, go to lifeunscriptedradio.com. To become a guest or participate in paid sponsorship, email us at Christina@lifeunscriptedradio.com.